Hi guys, Tony Sparrow here again. Welcome to another edition of Seekers of the Supernatural. And I'm your moderator, of course. I want to delve into something else here. As I was looking around the barn, I noticed these keys from hotels. You know, today they have the digital keys where you just put a card in or swipe your card like a MasterCard kind of a thing, or you just tap it. Years ago, everything was physical. Everything was a physical key. And these are, believe it or not, all of the keys that I had gathered from the years with Lorraine and Ed. These are Ed and Lorraine's keys. I wasn't with them on most of these hotel ventures when they were out lecturing. You know, when they lectured, they used to do lectures at colleges, probably sometimes up to 70 colleges a semester. So that means 70 schools in a 15-week, semester. And that's all over the country. They would travel all over the world now. I haven't looked through these in a long, long time. But I'm going to pull some out. Let's see where Ed and Lorraine were. Let's see where they've gone. Oh, they've been at Siesta Motel in Bristol, Virginia. Room 11. The Bruce Motel in Manisk, I can't say it, Maniske, Michigan. And I don't know what this is here. It's turned a knob, it says. Here is another key. It's room 219 at the Prime Motor Inn, Clifton, New Jersey. So any of you guys that are from some of these areas, you can tell me if you know some of these hotels or motels if they're still in existence. The Inn at TC Spirit, Crystal Lake, Illinois, room 266. Let's see what this one is. Thank you for staying with us, and it doesn't really say much except the room number. This one is Thomas Hotel, Lincoln, Nebraska. They've been all over. You like this song by Johnny Cash? I've Been Everywhere, Man. Well, they have. North Adams Inn, North Adams, Mass. Room 710. Let's see what this one is here. Tyler Motor Hotel, Radford, Virginia. What's this one say here? Let's see. Look at that. Bates Motel, Vale, Oregon. Bates Motel, like the movie with Vera Farmiga, like the TV show, I should say. With Vera Farmiga, they actually stayed at Bates Motel. Let's see. Kingston Springs, Tennessee. Look at all the keys in here, ladies and gentlemen. I'd say there's hundreds and hundreds of keys here. I'm not going to go through all of them. I just want to show you some. NEDA, Winnemucca, Nevada. I'm probably saying them all wrong, but, Fords, New Jersey. Sheraton, here's a Sheraton one from Milesburg, PA. Look at this big key here. Look at this thing. Room 311. I can't really tell what that says. Quality Inn? Quality Inn. Here's another key. These are the actual keys that I hate to say it, but Lorraine collected them. In other words, she took the room key. And Paradise. Hey, Paradise Motor Inn, Bennington, Vermont. Beautiful. Here's a Bel Air. Looks almost like the Bates Motel. Bel Air Motel in Elmington, Indiana. Flemington, Michigan. I don't know. What's that say, guys? I can't really read it. Oh, it's Flemington, Illinois. Look at that. I want to tell you a quick story about people have been asking me on my Facebook account, Lawrence, Kansas. There's a picture of Ed and I, which I'll show you at some point. When Ed's wearing a sweatshirt, it says, "I survived Ringo." But the shirt's a little wrinkled, the sweatshirt. People say I survived bingo, so they asked me if Ed played bingo. No, he never played bingo. but he survived Ringo, and it wasn't Ringo Starr as a Beatle. And I'll tell you the story as best I can remember it. Ed was over in England and Scotland. I believe this was in Scotland it happened. And he was walking through a graveyard with some people that he took with him. There's one in New York. And as he's walking through the graveyard he has a couple young ladies with him too. And some boys, some men, young men, and Lorraine. He encounters a motorcycle gang out there. And the leader of the motorcycle gang was named Ringo. And Ringo walked over to Ed and started talking to him. And then he said, well, you're coming with me. You guys are coming with me. This is a motorcycle guy saying that. And Ed says, well, we got to get back to our hotel, to our bed and breakfast. No, you're not going anywhere. You're coming with me. And Ed told me that this guy was Brown Derby, Montpelier, Vermont, that this guy was so intimidating, and he had a bunch of motorcycle guys with him, and he felt that he had to follow them. He says, we're going to have a party. This guy said, we're going to have a party at my house, and I want you to come. So Ed said he felt no way out of it. He had to go to this party with this guy Ringo as a leader, the motorcycle gang. And they went to the motorcycle gang party. And while they're there, everybody's drinking, they're getting drunk, except Ed, of course, because Ed doesn't drink, or didn't drink. And neither the other people, they're all frightened. They couldn't wait to leave. Finally, Ed says, we got to get back. We have things we got to do tomorrow. The guy says, well, you can leave, but those two girls are staying. And Ed says, look, Ringo, let's talk man to man. He says, these two girls, they're nice girls. You don't want to have them stay with you. They're just little girls. They're young. They were like 18, 19. And he said he had to really finagle and use all his expertise for Ringo to finally allow Ed to take the two girls and the other people back to his hotel. He told me later when he came back from England or Scotland, he said it was one of the most harrowing experiences he's had in a long time, because he said he was just outnumbered, outgunned by these guys that just almost took control over him. Watsonville, California. So that's the story of Ringo. When he says, I survived Ringo, it was a harrowing experience for Ed and for all the people on the trip. It was like it was a trip that Ed took these folks on with Lorraine to show them haunted parts of England and Scotland, and they didn't know what they were in for when they walked into that graveyard late at night. Look, I'm not even a quarter of the way through Shady Nook, Sandwich, Mass. I think this is pretty interesting. I hope I'm not boring you guys with this, but just to show you, these are the places that they've been. Let's just dig in deep and find another one. Country Squire, Whitewater, Wisconsin. They've been all over this United States, and Paradise Motor Inn, Bennington. That's another one. They're probably there twice. Griswold Inn, Essex. I know where that is. It's a good place. Good place for food. And let's see. Holiday Inn, Dwight Street, Springfield, Mass. And I know there's some from England and Scotland here too. I know that. Look at this. Hawksgarth Lodge, Whitby, guys. This is the place that I told you about, that I had that encounter with a demonic entity. It's in Whitby Abbey in Whitby, England. So that's where they stayed. Hawksgarth Lodge, Whitby. And I know there's others here too. Look at this. I can tell by looking at the key. Look at this, guys. I know how to pronounce it. You guys probably don't. Drumnadrochit Hotel in Inverness-shire in Scotland. Not too far from where the Loch Ness Monster is at Loch Ness. We stayed there. I was there with them once. Drumnadrochit. It's a cool name. And let's see. I can't see it. Okay, and somewhere in Heber City, Utah. Another big key. All it says is 338 on it. This is a look back, ladies and gentlemen, to Ed and Lorraine's foyer journeys. Look at this. Remember, I was trying to say this in the other video, I was saying Gulag by mistake. It's Gulag Hotel, Lochinver, Scotland. And if you see up there, I got the sign for Lochinver right there. Lochinver, Scotland. That's, oh, by the way, that's my little wall of sound, as I showed you the other day. But Lochinver, Scotland, isn't that wild? I was there with them once twice at the Gulag. It was very, very cool there. And Cobleskill, New York. This is crazy, huh? Beverly Crest Hotel. Beverly Crest, which is in Beverly Hills, California. Stagecoach Motel, Gap, PA. And let's see. University Conference Center, Warrensburg, Missouri. Landbrook, Reigate Hill, Reigate, Surrey. That's England. That's in England for sure. I know that. Please return. We pay postage. Maybe I'll send it back and see what happens. Okay, so please return in post. Please, this got to be England too. Ben Loyal Hotel, Tongue. That was a nice little hotel up in Tongue. That's up in the Highlands of Scotland, which Ed loved very much, and so did I, and so did Judy, and so did Lorraine. That was a fantastic place. Sage and Sand, Boynton Beach, Florida. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to go through every key, because if I did, I'd be here for another 2 or 3 hours, because there's still hundreds of keys left in there. But that's to give you a little overview of the many, many places that Ed and Lorraine Warren traveled throughout their travels when they were doing college lectures. They were in such demand. Now, if they did 70 colleges in one semester, that's moving, because that's like what? How many days is 15 weeks? 15 times 7, whatever that is. Imagine packing 70 colleges in there, and I'm talking crisscrossing the nation. They had to fly, one day they'd be in Utah, the next day they'd be in Boston. It was crazy. It wasn't like, when you do rock concerts today, they more or less put it in order of, proximity. Like, you go to Connecticut, New Jersey, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania. They didn't do it that way back then. The managers, wherever they found, whatever date they could fill in for the colleges, they did. So it might have been Boston on Monday and Colorado on Tuesday. So they did a lot of flying. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to sign off. It's a beautiful day here in Connecticut. Today is September 12th, the day after the horrible Trade Center attacks. And I remember exactly where I was on September 11th of 2001. I was working in an office in a building in Cheshire, Connecticut, at a place called Edwards Signaling. Edwards Signaling, they made alarms and the pull station, those fire pull stations on, I just see on all the walls of businesses, the red, you pull it for fire. They made a lot of sirens and beacons and things like that, signaling devices. And it was about 8:45 in the morning. And the girl across from me, I was a supervisor in customer service. The girl across from me looks up from her phone as she hung up and said, "Oh, my boyfriend said a small plane just hit the trade towers." So I just went like, small plane, huh? That's too bad. Anybody hurt? She says, "I don't know." About not even like a couple minutes later, she says, "Oh, he just called back, said it was a commercial airline, like a 737. I said, "No, that can't be true." I said, that's terrible. And then, not that long later, they said a second plane hit the towers. And I remember everybody's face when that was announced. And I walked over to a guy I knew, Rick Taylor. He was an ex-Navy guy, a submariner. I walked over to Rick's cubicle. He was a manager. And I said, "Rick, did you hear?" He said, "America's under attack." That's how he said it to me. He goes, "They just hit the Pentagon." And chills went up my back, And he said, "We're under attack, man. We're under attack." I'm getting choked up now just thinking about it. But anyway, that was yesterday, 19 years. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Until next time, I'm Tony Sparrow.